What's up, guys? Back for part 2 of the Nova LS swap. Right here behind me we got the engine and transmission and new parts. I just got a new clutch from Advanced Auto Parts, and I'm taking advantage of the tool rentals that they offer, which you can rent out a tool and then when you return it you just get all the money back. So that's a pretty good system, and I should have been smarter about it, but I cut the line right here. And I really shouldn't have done that. I found out that's $70 for a new one. So right now I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet, buy a new one. But you know, new clutch is here, and I got the new special pliers to work on the snap rings of the transmission. So basically this episode I'm gonna be tearing apart the engine and disassembling the transmission just to see what needs to happen to them. So let's get into it. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but the Nova is an automatic right now, so it doesn't have a clutch pedal, and you can order a clutch and brake pedal set for 80 bucks. So I think I'm going to do that, and then I might have to fabricate up a rod to go to the firewall and work the master cylinder, but that's what I'm working with right there. And I just said I cut that line, which I shouldn't have done that, but I'll just buy a $70 new line and keep the master cylinder and reservoir that I have. So I went ahead and made the big order on Summit, and it ended up being like 1,200 bucks to buy the clutch pedal along with the wiring and, you know, the clutch line that I screwed up. So here's the transmission table setup that I got. If you're wondering how that's standing up like that, there's a hole. It happens to be the perfect size right in the middle of the table. And then I got the old clutch and new clutch, and then that's the throw-up bearing. I just got to replace that line on it, and then master cylinder. So the Summit order is supposed to be here tomorrow, and I might start playing around with that pedal, trying to get that situated. And then I'm gonna have to drill the firewall and get that connected in there, but that's not a big deal. And I'm about to start getting into taking the trans apart. First things first, I'll pop the shifter off of here, and then I'll start taking the tail housing off. So what you're seeing right here is a stock plastic shifter cup, and if it stays intact, I'll just use that. If not, I'll replace it with the bronze one. And then over to the right, that's I can't remember what it's called, but it makes it harder to shift into reverse. Just so when you're on the highway trying to hit 5th gear, you don't want to shift into reverse and blow up your trans. So I think there's mods where you can change out the spring in there, but I'm not really worried about that. You know, just I'd rather not hit reverse on the highway. So I finally got that pin out of there, and there's the shifter fork, whatever you want to call it. So now I'm just going to go around and crack all these loose and then try to pull that tail housing off of there. These have probably been on there the whole life of the car, so it may be hard to get off of there, but I'm hoping not. Not bad. Not at all. So table's just a little bit too high for me, so I'm up on top of the table. You can see a good view of the garage door, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull those off at the impact and try not to hit my head on the garage door. All the bolts are out holding the tail housing onto the rest of the transmission, and there's this little pry point right here, and you just pry on both sides, and we're about to see how much of a struggle that's going to be. Idea is just to evenly pry it up on both sides, and then, you know, may have to get a razor blade and kind of pry it open other points. But, you know, this thing's been sealed for a long time, and it may be a struggle getting it apart. I'm just going to set this up on the tripod and see what it looks like. Just like that, there's the inside of the transmission. And I've never had a transmission apart, so I have no means an expert at this. Alright, so the tail housing is off, and you know, this whole row right here, that's first through fourth in reverse, I think, and fifth and sixth are on this shaft, so don't quote me on that, but that's what I think. And this is the reverse fork, which I'm gonna have to modify, as I'll show you in just a second. So right here, I don't know if you can tell, but there's like a 1/16 of an inch gap right there, and that's the problem. So this is just a manufacturing defect on GM's part, which you have to just grind down this top part and then add a washer right there on that, just below the fork. What that's gonna do is just raise it up, so when you shift into reverse, you're getting full engagement. The way it is right now, that synchro is just catching the edge of it, so it's prone to pop out of gear, and in my case, it won't even hold reverse. So next step on the teardown, I just gotta go all the way down and just take all the gears and bearings off of there just to get to the reverse gear. And I just gotta take them off just in the order they come off of there and set them on the table. And that way I'll have it for reference, just to put them on exactly the way I had them on there. So I'm gonna put it up on the tripod and get to work on it. Alright, so the transmission is completely disassembled to the level that I need it to be. And, you know, that's all it took right there. That's, what, like 10 things? And, you know, there's nothing hard about that. It's just all systematic, just keeping your ducks in a row. And you just gotta take it off the transmission and put it on the table just like it was on there. Unless, in that one case, that one snap ring was on there just a little bit wrong. But I'll put that back on there the right way when it's put back together. And here's what we gotta do. This is the problem child. It's just gotta be ground down a little bit. And I was thinking about taking it to a machine shop, but you know, I think I could have this done tonight. Just take a grinder to it. All right, so this is our reverse gear right here, and it's got the teeth right there. And this is the reverse synchro. So since it wasn't fully engaging, it caught the edge of those teeth right there. So it would mesh together and it wouldn't get full engagement, and it stripped those teeth out just slightly. So what I can do is just flip this 180 degrees, just like that, and use some new teeth. And then this is in good enough shape that it should be fine. And you know, just flip that over so you got brand new teeth, and fix the problem to get better engagement, just so it doesn't strip out again. Right there, we got full engagement. So I'm gonna try to fix the reverse fork and try to shim it up just a little bit and see how that goes. So I'm doing a test fit with the new washer installed, and I'm hoping that should shim it up enough, which it looks like it may be a little bit too much. But anyways, I'm gonna try it out and see what it looks like, and may have to make a hardware store run. Transmission's fully packed together, ready to be tested with the new washer right there. So the way this thing works is, you know, that's the gates for the shifter. You got first gear up, second gear down, third gear up, fourth gear down, fifth gear up, sixth gear down, and then reverse right on the end. So the way you shift into reverse without a shifter is you're gonna kick this, just get a punch that's gonna fit in there, and then kick it all the way to the side, and then you have to push up on that shaft. So that washer's in there, and I shifted it up into reverse, and it looks like there's a lot less of a gap. Here's that same punch just for reference, and that's really about half the gap. I'd say maybe a 1/16 of an inch, which it looks like it's fully engaged now. So I think I might just keep that washer and then go ahead and grind that surface down on the fork just enough to be able to put a snap ring back in place. So I think we have it fixed, and I just need to bend the snap ring on there. All right, guys, so you can see right there, we're just about there. Just needs one more pass over, I think, and then we're gonna be done with that. All right, so go ahead and go comment down below saying that I shouldn't use an angle grinder on the transmission. But, you know, this turned out really good. It's down to the 1,000th of an inch, I'd say. Not that close, but, you know, obviously good enough for what we're doing. And you got the washer down there, so it should be all set. I'm gonna go ahead and fully reassemble it and then see what it looks like. Everything's put back together, working just as it should. So now I'm just gonna clean up the surfaces and then seal this thing up. Ran into just a little bit of a problem on the transmission. Turns out it doesn't have a magnet that would collect any of the metal shavings that are in the transmission. So that's kind of a no-go. I was thinking about just throwing it back together, but you know, in my better judgment, I decided it's probably a good thing to have in there. I ordered it off of a small company, and it may take a week, 2 weeks to get over here, so that's gonna wrap this video up. Hope you guys enjoyed. Next episode, I'll probably be pulling the engine out of the Nova and, you know, fitting up the clutch pedal and all that. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.